2-pin, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball. Bram Lynch does it again and stays perfect for the 2008 season.
Wow, that is just remarkable video.
World fucking champion!
Yeah, Chris Wheeler in the background, pumping fists and all that. You know, and then let's show it again because, you know, let's show it again. Here it is.
Struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball. Bram Lynch does it again and stays perfect for the 2008 season.
Welcome in, everybody. Joe Quills here with you on this Tuesday night. It is October the 29th, and that is a day that lives in infamy here in the city of Philadelphia, even though I'm wearing a Boston shirt tonight. You know, I might as well give myself one of those already because I'm a dope for doing that, but there it is. But anyways, I will ask all my Philly friends who may be watching even after the fact or listening after the fact, where were you at 9:57 p.m. on October 29th, a Wednesday night? Where were you? Huh? Where were you? Huh? I know where I was. I was at that game. I almost drowned in part 1 on that Monday, and then I almost froze to death during the second half of that game because of everything there. Penguin AZ is here. Welcome in. So that was 16 years ago tonight in about 49 minutes. It is 9:08 here on the East Coast here. And the Philadelphia Phillies were world champions of baseball, as Harry Callis called it on whatever channel it was back then. I think they were on 1210 at the time, I think. I don't remember. They weren't on that. They weren't on FM at the time, I don't think. But whatever it was, the Phillies were world champions that night. I was at that game. I got to see the curse of William Pembroke, and I even got interviewed by ESPN that Monday afternoon by Jim Capel, who passed away last year, I think it was. And you know, that's the little connection I have with ESPN. Was I got interviewed by ESPN and never got the video downloaded. I had the tools that I could do it, but it never dawned on me to do it. Or when I did do it, I never got around to doing it. So I never have proof that it happened. And I've Googled Cursor William Penn. I've done all that stuff. I cannot find it. And it was like a 10-second thing. And I remember walking into work that next morning. It's like, dude, you were on ESPN last night. Well, it's on the website, but you know, but it was 16 years ago tonight, which led to the greatest Halloween ever, which led to this quote.
World champion. World fucking champions.
And that led to the greatest quote until Jason Kelsey said, "Hold my beer" to Chase Utley 10 years later on the steps of the Art Museum in the only championship parade up Broad Street, because they all go down Broad Street to the stadiums. But the Eagles, they went up Broad Street like like all parades should from now on. But Penguin says, "Yank me." Losing tonight? Well, first of all, I'm not yanking you because I'm not that type of guy. And yeah, the Yankees are down 2-1 right now. So it's possible that we could see Chase Utley's other team, the LA Dodgers, win a World Series tonight here. So, and here we go with the Tony Bruno type references. Let's get it back to the Eagles. I haven't even gotten to the Eagles yet. I haven't even gotten any football. I got all this football stuff, but nothing Eagles related. Um, but yeah, so that was 16 years ago tonight. My dad and I were there at the game, and yeah, it was a great night, and great. You know, if there's anything you want to be at, you want to be at a championship game, and especially when your team wins. But unfortunately, that's 16 years ago, and the Phillies have gotten close 2 years ago, and they've started that regression that um, that I worry about all the time with just getting my. There we go. Let me just do one thing. Stream manager. Just make sure the volume's down here so I don't hear myself. There we go. So yeah, so it's a momentous night, and probably Thursday show I'll begin with Chase Utley saying "World effing champions," but nah. I mean, I got to take that off because baseball season's over. It's been over for about 3 weeks for the Phillies, and I mean it's been over for a month for Arizona, but that's what happens when you don't make the playoffs when you lose a tiebreaker. But at least the Phillies got in. But anyways, a lot to talk about here tonight. I thought I would share that because today is the 16th anniversary, and we don't worry about the championship in 1980 anymore because we have a second championship. Should have had a third this year, but stuff happens, and grand slam for the Yankees are up 5-2 right now. So Yankees trying to push this to a game 5. Now, one thing I will say before we get to everything I typed there right before the show started, the one thing I will tell you guys is if this was a game, if this was a Yankees team that was a year or two removed from losing the series after being up 3-0 to the Red Sox, I would definitely tell you guys it's very possible that the Yankees could come back. Now, granted, the scores in some regards, they don't indicate how close or how dominant the wins were. I thought for 4-2 was a very dominant win for the Dodgers. Right now, anything can happen between now and 11:30, 12 o'clock because this game's going to take forever to play tonight. But um, you got 6 more innings here, and it's almost 20 years removed that uh, the Red Sox came back from 3-0 to win that series. Well, 2004, as a matter of fact. So 20 years exactly. So you don't have that. You don't have that recency of like, hey, they did it to us. Why can't we do it to them? You've had a couple of generations of Yankees coming through there, so you're not going to have that. Oh shit! I mean, it's like we're down 3-0, but you start you start getting some momentum. You win a game 4, you win a game 5. That's like, uh-oh. And the worst thing the Dodgers can do is think, oh, we'll just win it at home, because you have that mentality. You're going to lose in 7, but I'm not going to say that right now. All I will say is it's 5-2 right now. There's plenty of ball game left. The Yankees could put up another 15 runs for all I know, and maybe the Dodgers end up scoring 4 more runs and end up winning 6-5. Who knows? But either way, you do have an interesting game here right now, and Yankee Stadium is rocking for the first time in this series. Even when Fat Joe was coming out and doing his Meek Mill impression, or his Ice Cube, Ice T, Elemento P impression, the fans just weren't into it. At least it didn't seem that way. But call me wrong. I don't care. But um, but the Yankees are up 5-2. I'll keep track of that for you here as well. So um, let's begin now. Especially part of the reason why I changed my show name for the Philly Guy Speaks to the Joe Quills Show is because when when somebody was promoting my show, they were thinking, well, Joe only talks Philly sports, and that's not true. What I'd like to do is, if I'm going to start with a story like the Sixers and Joel Embiid, I like to uh, start locally and work my way outward, kind of like a high pressure system, working my way. Now, there are weeks where the most important stories are the stories from around the United States or the world, so and I bring it back in locally if I need to. But either way, um, it's just you know, uh, just the way that I try to do things. I try to plan things out here, and we're not going to go perfectly as planned here. I may bounce around and head to Diontae Johnson first, then Stephon Diggs, whatever, but that's fine. You get an idea what I plan on talking about. That's why I always put planned, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I could lose internet or electricity like I did last night at 3:30 in the morning for a couple of minutes. Woke me to fuck up. But anyways, but um, the NBA did conclude their investigation on Joel Embiid, and the NBA has fined the Sixers $100,000 for public statements around the health of All NBA center Joel Embiid. The investigation showed that the Sixers did not violate player participation policy with Embiid's missed games, but did so with the public comments that did not properly reflect his health issues with his knee. Now, I mean, here's the thing. We know he is brittle as fuck. We know that. And part of it is all part of being a 7-footer. And they're trying to have him lose 25 pounds, and maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. Some people, like when I um went to that party a couple of weeks ago at my friend's house for Eagles Giants, and get together with guys from my high school class and their significant others and shit like that. Um, they said, "Oh, you lost weight. You look good." Now, here's the thing. There are times when I look at my weight, and there are times when I don't look at my weight. Like today, I think I'm at my lowest in God knows how long. Now, granted, it's like this much, about this much less than what I have been, but when you're getting closer to seeing that second number in the tens uh, go down a number, that's when you start getting excited, because the shit's starting to work. The Majaro I got to take and all that stuff, and being careful with what I eat, even though I don't eat perfectly. I haven't really been snacking too much, even though I was tonight. Um, you know, but whether Joel Embiid's lost 25 pounds or not, so what? You know, I mean, what you lose in fat, you probably gain back in muscle. But um, the league cited comments made by President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey and Coach Nick Nurse that were inconsistent with Joel Embiid's health status and in violation of the NBA rules. The NBA said it confirmed that Embiid has been unable to play so far because of a left knee condition. Now, if you note there, they haven't really said what that is. And like Penguin AZ says, it's the process. And, like a lot of things here, I just wonder. I mean, we can pretty much guess that he came back too soon. But the good part about him, Embiid, that is, and the Sixers eliminating the first round, was the fact that he basically got a month and a half, 2 months to rest up rehab the knee some more so he can go to the Olympics. Now, if you remember, he even had that one game where he just sat on the bench the whole game. But I really think when you look at everything, um, I think the team just has to be more careful with what they say. Now they did investigate Paul George from what I think. Now the only difference between Paul George and Joel Embiid is Paul George hyperextended his knee in a preseason game. So there's video of what he did. Whereas with Joel Embiid, it's like, I don't know what he did, but the way everything is, you can, you know, you got all these things going on here, but I mean, and I'm not trying to take the side of the Sixers. I'm trying to be a little bit, um, trying to be a little bit neutral in this, and also an outsider as well, because I don't mind being an outsider. I just think that there is something definitely wrong with his knee. It all stems from that um, when the Golden State Warrior fell on his knee. You know, I mean, I think it's obvious. He probably, you know, probably the meniscus injury was worse than what they let on, and he probably should not have come back. But he did come back, and he did. He was always falling down, hurting, getting a shooting pain in his leg and his knee during the next series, and he'd be flopping like LeBron James and all that. But yeah, he's he is very brittle, and I think the Sixers probably will have to be careful what they say. Um, I mean, I don't know if they just say he's hurt and that's it, because that will probably lead to more fines. But I think if I'm the Sixers, I say, what are we supposed to say that A, you don't investigate us, and B, you know, what's the proper thing to say here? Because, sometimes you need a little guidance in what to say so that you're following the process of the NBA, since the Penguin referred to the process. But I just see this, and I just wonder, is there something that we don't know? Probably. And and I don't know if this falls into HIPAA laws or anything like that, but you could, in a way, you can hide things, but you really can't hide things because of the fact that um, because you have gambling involved now, and you got to know that. I mean, look at the NFL; you get injury reports all week, and I do have a thing about Aaron Rodgers here tonight, where uh, he's admitted that he hasn't been right all year, but he's doing something other than ayahuasca. Uh, but it's I mean, there's something going on. Apparently, it's not a major injury. At least we don't think, to the knee. It's probably just some residual bullshit that's going on in his knee, and he's just got to learn to manage it. And and I think the fact that they said that he will not play any back-to-back games ever again, that probably led to the fine. At least that's what I think. Um, and I'm sure there's other things that you can point as well, but um, you know, I mean, he's fragile. What can we do? Um, he probably be better suited to win, played on another team and win a championship. But make sure it's out on the Western Conference, because if he finds the right training staff that will help him play a couple years longer than what he would here, for example, you don't want it to be in the Eastern Conference or even the Atlantic Division, because he will be the Sixers' nightmares for years to come. Where if he's out west, he will only be a nightmare to the Sixers 141st of the season, meaning 2 out of the 82 games. So, and I'm not saying you trade him, but you're getting to the point where the window that was barely open with the Sixers is slowly getting to the point where you can't get it back open easily enough. But either way, it is a injury. The injury is legit. It's just that the verbiage that the Sixers use cost them $100,000. So now another guy who has, sorry, I had to get a drink there. Another guy that has a knee injury, and he will not be questioned because he did it on the field, is Stephon Diggs. Now, you kind of don't question the injuries in the NFL, especially if they're knee injuries like this is. But um, Stephon Diggs has a torn ACL. He's done for the year, so drop him in your fantasy leagues if he's droppable, because I know a lot of leagues they have undroppable players, so keep an eye on that. D'Amico Ryans called it a blow to us. The two-time All-Pro ranked 7th in catches this year and was 2nd in receiving yards. So, tough situation for Houston coming into a short week, and also flying up to New York. Even though you're playing New York, you're playing a New York team. But um, Ryans also said it hurts our team to hear that news. He's been such an important part of our team and everything that he's brought us, not only on the field but also off. The energy, the leader, the way he worked every single day. Have to pick up the slack. A lot of guys have to step up and pick up the slack. Definitely praying for him. Diggs' injury was on a non-contact play, which, whenever you see a non-contact injury, no matter the sport, I mean, you see it a lot in football. You see it once in a while in baseball, but it's rare. But Ronald Acuna had a non-contact knee injury in Pittsburgh earlier in the year. Reese Hoskins in spring training in 23, he went for a pop up and his knee gave out on him. You can just tell right away by the way he jumped when his knee popped that you knew he was done for the year. When you have a non-contact injury, whether it's a non-contact to your Achilles or to your knee, you can pretty much say they're done right away. Now, obviously, you don't want to play doctor and be wrong, but I think with the way that we have so many cameras at stadiums, and you get to see the replay, you get to see the ruptured Achilles in Deshaun Watson, you see it rippling up his calf, or even with um, shit. What the hell am I thinking of? Um, with the Suns now. Um, God damn, I can't believe I forgot his. I know if Kevin Durant. And I got to give myself another one of those because the fact that I forgot Kevin Durant's name deserves one of them. But even when he was with Golden State that final season he was there, you did see um, uh, and Mike is here and he said Richardson is out, Flacco is in. I know, I just haven't gotten to that part yet. It's not as important as the injury report and telling you time's yours and shit like that. So, but you know, that I mean they got a thin wide receiver core now, and Mike was telling me Durant he was lurking. Mike was lurking the whole time. So, um, so it was a non-contact injury. Whenever you have these non-contact injuries, they're screwed. Um, now, uh, and might not be breaking news, But Lions, Williams pulled over with multiple guns. I did see that. I printed so much stuff up tonight. I'll mention that at the end of the show here. Um, we'll get the police blotter out. Matter of fact, let me do this. I got the story up here, so I'll read it in a couple of minutes here. Penguin. Um, so Houston goes to the Jets on Thursday night. Um, Now they don't have Nico Collins either. He's out for another week with a hamstring injury. He's on returnable IR. Um, Tank Dell, Robert Woods, Xavier Hutchinson, and John Mechie Jr. III are the 4 wide receivers that'll be in uniform and need to step up. But no matter who steps up to replace Diggs, the Texans will lean on Joe Mixon, their running back. He's averaging 101 yards a game, third in the NFL. He can help keep the Texans out of unfavorable situations. And when Mixon's on the field, they average 27 points a game compared to 18 when he has not played. So, and Diggs will be a free agent after this year. So, I think you keep him, but you may, it may be that he just wants to go to another team. But I think with it being Texas, because you don't have a state income tax, I may want to stay here. So, but free agency isn't until March, so we'll see what happens with that. So, but I'm just peeking at my phone there because I saw a thing come up here. So, but anyways, also, all right, since Mike brought it up, I'll flip things around here because I'm that type of a person. Anthony Richardson was benched, and he came up on the show last night because Anthony Richardson asked himself out of the game. He went like this. He needed a timeout on the bench as opposed to a 20-second timeout or a full timeout. But they benched Anthony Richardson, and it's more than just that. Joe Flacco's taking over. Coaches met Tuesday and only decided to change quarterbacks. And we talked about how he had to step off the field for a play or two because he was tired. Well, here's the thing: you got to grow as a quarterback and realize that you can't run around like your head cut off. But Shane Steichen said Monday he was evaluating the quarterback situation. He added that Richardson's request to come out of the game was not a factor, or would not be a factor. Internally, Colts maintain Richardson's time as their franchise quarterback is not over. I think it may be. One team source characterized the benching as a growth opportunity and also insisted the Colts are not quitting on Anthony. Now, the one thing to remember is with Anthony Richardson and Will Smith hits a home run, makes it 5-3. And by the way, if the Dodgers win tonight, here's a fun fact. If the Dodgers win tonight, a baseball player by the name Will Smith will win for the 5th consecutive year. Because Will Smith, the Dodger, won in 2020. And if they win tonight or win any of the next 4 games, he'll be a World Series champion this year. And then in 21, 22, and 23, it was Will Smith, the left-handed pitcher who pitched for Texas last year, Houston, and whoever the hell won in 2020. But yeah, so it'd be 5 straight years you have a Will Smith winning a World Series. But but as long as the real Will Smith doesn't go, I'm okay. But the one thing to remember is Richardson, who's in year 2 with the Colts, he's only 22 years old, and he's the youngest starting quarterback in the league, even with the fact that he's in his second year. And he was drafted before his 21st birthday and just after 13 starts at the University of Florida. Now, the one thing I'll say is when it comes to Anthony Richardson, he missed most of the season last year. So even though you're probably going through all the meetings and going through the video and all that, in a way, he's still a rookie in terms of playing time because you eventually got to realize that I got to be smarter with running out of the pocket, advancing the ball up the field, running the ball. Because the fact that you're taking hit after hit after hit, that's why you're getting hurt all the time because this isn't somebody playing Florida. This isn't high school ball. These are the top guys, and the defensive guys are just as fast as the offensive guys. And they will crush you like a grape. But and the Colts have been insistent that Richardson needs to play in order to grow as a player, which fueled their decision to start him as a rookie. And, in some regards, being injured like he has, that probably stunted his growth as well, even though some may argue otherwise. But I think in some regards, he's still technically a rookie, even though he's a second-year player, because of the fact that he hasn't played many games this year or last year because he was getting hurt every single game, it seemed, until he was out for the year. But what may be the reasons, plural, why he's sitting this week, at least this week, he completed just 10 of 32 passes for 175 yards in Sunday's loss to Houston. You could say it was the helmet tap where he had to sit out a play because he was tired. That would be enough for me where, okay, you need a break. You're going to get the rest of the game off because, you're out of control. And he also has a 44.4 completion rate. Not bad, but terrible. But now Steichen did not defend Richardson's decision to leave the game, saying Monday he had a private conversation with the second-year quarterback and adding that you can't take yourself out, and it's a learned experience for him, and he's got to grow with it. So now Richardson's the second quarterback from last year's draft to be benched this season. We all know Bryce Young and what he has done so far this year. So since Mike brought up Anthony Richardson there about 10 minutes ago, might as well mention. And, that's why I always say planned because, it's all, it's flexible. And, just when I create the audio tonight for the podcast, so I distribute it out, you guys know I'll know what order to do it in. So I apologize. The caffeine just did not kick in at all. So, but anyways, now we'll go to what Penguin AZ was mentioning here. And, this is why I'm flexible. That's why I put on there more ... because you never know what's going to pop up. And I did see this, but I was like, do I, don't I? I don't know. But there is a report here on ESPN's website that the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office is reviewing a warrant for the arrest of Detroit Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams on concealed weapons charge. WXYZ TV in Detroit has reported this. The warrant was issued on a charge of carrying a concealed weapon in a motor vehicle. Was issued late last week by Detroit Police Department stemming from a traffic stop on the 8th. The warrant request was made after an internal affairs investigation was opened after WXYZ TV asked the police department about why Williams wasn't taken into custody. Williams' attorney Todd Flood said in a statement On October 8, my clients were pulled over for an alleged traffic violation. During the course of the stop, my clients were both cooperative and respectful with the police officers. With the 2 pistols that were found in the vehicle, they were both properly registered, and the driver in the vehicle had the proper credentials to carry them. We have cooperated with law enforcement and will continue to do so. Williams was riding as a passenger. Police asked Williams' brother if there were any weapons in the vehicle, and he said there were 2 guns, one in the back seat and one under Jamison Williams' passenger seat. So from what I'm reading so far, it seems like they were on the up and up with the police. It wasn't like they were. Um, it's not like they were. Um, it's not like they were hiding something, and then the next thing they're getting pulled out of the car and all the different things, and ending up on patrol live. But now the question, I mean, if they have the permit to carry these guns, then why is there a warrant here? Maybe it's on here. Uh, the gun in the back seat was registered to Wade's brother, who had a concealed license. The gun under the passenger seat was registered to Jamison Wilson, who did not have a concealed pistol license. So there's your issue, people. Jamison Williams did not have a license. Jamison Williams, who repeatedly identified himself as a player for the Lions during the stop, according to body camera audio, was handcuffed and put in the backseat of the car. Detroit Police Commander Michael McGinnis said that I feel there was probable cause to arrest and he was under arrest by the patrol officer, and because of that, he should have been conveyed to the Detroit Detention Center and processed. However, a supervisor and later sergeant arrived at the scene, and Williams was released after the sergeant made several phone calls to higher-ranking officers to find out if Williams should be arrested or if the concealed piston license belonging to his brother covered both guns. So they were looking to see, they were looking at everything here, and it wasn't a case of "don't you know who I am," as opposed to Scotty Scheffler, who I still contest was "don't you know who I am, motherfucker." I mean, but so it wasn't a case of "don't you know who I am." From what we know, everything was on the up and up here. So, we ain't going to get, you know, fire the cops and, arrest the cops and all that other bullshit. Tyreek, take note. Yeah. You know, um, the Lions said that Jameson was made aware immediately that he was a passenger in a routine traffic stop on October 8th. We discussed the incident with him and have kept the league informed of what we know. We understand that he was released without incident or citation. It is now our understanding that the Detroit Police Department is revisiting the matter. Jameson has hired an attorney, and we will not be commenting further out of respect to the legal process. Now, Williams is suspended for 2 games for violating performance enhancing substance policy. Jameson said that the suspension was a complete surprise. He was suspended 4 games last year for the league's gambling policy. But it looks like everything's on the up and up for the most part. It wasn't like what you see on Patrol Live or Cops or anything where it's like, I don't know how that gun got there. They said that the gun was theirs, and the police were even doing their due diligence where they were even saying, does his brother's license cover this or not? So they're taking everything into account here. So it's not like, oh, fuck this guy, throw him in the I think they were doing everything they could, and I think they realized that they had a Detroit Lion there a Lion who could be a guy that is on a Super Bowl team this year. Some of us in Philly may argue otherwise right now, um, but you do have a lot of um, you got a lot going on here, and he may eventually get locked up because of because everything that went on with this. I mean, it may just be a simple processing. Who knows? Um, but yeah, I think they tried to do whatever they could, and I think that they were definitely, maybe even because of the Tyree case, they were very careful with everything that they were doing so that they don't end up being mocked at with everything. So as of right now, and I reserve the right to take this back if we find out in a couple of days to a couple of weeks that the Detroit police did something that they weren't supposed to do. Right now, I will say good job by the Detroit police of, you know, crossing all T's, dotting all I's and J's, making sure um, everything was on the up and up. And, you know, just because he's a football player, you know, it wasn't, well, we didn't see anything you can go, but it wasn't beat the shit out of him either. So right now it seems like it was a typical, the way a police call or a police pulling over a car, the way it should be, at least right now. But, I don't think there's any smoke to this fire, but it does look like that everything is on the up and up so far. So, and here's the thing. And truthfully, when it comes to the cops, you know, I'm not necessarily pro cop, but I'm not anti cop. I'm the type of person where if a if a cop did something that warrants him to be suspended, lose a job, get thrown into jail or whatever happened, if it's something that warrants disciplinary action, whether it's suspension, firing, going to jail, whatever, I'm all for that. You know, I'm all for cops that are on the up and up. But, the one thing is, I will question cops from time to time. I will also question the person that is recording the video, recording the video, the subject of the video. Like Tyreek Hill, even though we found out that one of the cops in Miami was a dirty cop, even though he did have a history of disciplinary actions against him in his career, Tyreek Hill could have made that situation a whole lot better by just, when the cop said, get out of the car, you know, things could have been so much easier if you just obey the orders. You know, you could just say, I mean, the way I would handle it, even though I'd probably be shitting my pants, I'd be like, well, help me, more than happy to get out of the car here. Talk to me. Let's talk this through. But, you know, but just the fact that Tyreek closed that window when the cop was telling him to keep the window open, you know, in a way, the cops do have a reason for what they did, but even what they did on the sidewalk, on the street, it was excessive. But, two wrongs don't make a right here. That's the moral of that story. And, it appears that we don't see anything wrong here, but we haven't seen any video, or will any video be released. Um, but it is an interesting thing here that October's not been a good month for Jameson Williams between the 2-game suspension for performance-enhancing substances and also this happening this month. So, um, and we'll see what happens with all this here. And, maybe nothing happens or maybe something does. But so anyways, what I want to tell you as well, just peeking at something here. But anyways, do want to let you know that also eligible. I mean, this is the busiest week of my year. I would when I was blogging, I would blog my Thursday night blog for sports, my Breeders' Cup Friday, my Breeders' Cup Saturday, and all that. I think this is show number 2 of at least 6 this week because Saturday. Well, we will have also eligible, but in what form, I'm not sure. It may be, we're definitely going to be live on Friday. And it looks like it's going to be, it looks like Friday will be from 5 to 8:30 p.m. It looks like Saturday is going to be from 2:30 to 8:30. Going to be sidecasting those 14 Breeders' Cup races, 5 on Friday, 9 on Saturday. We may even be doing a pre-show at 10 o'clock. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's going to be a long. It's a long week for me, but it's so worth it. Giving you information, and who knows? Excuse me. We may get a couple of winners here as well. So, so hopefully you will join me on whatever platform we end up on. It's some of the other things we got to iron out between now and Friday. But keep track of me on X, or as I called it, Shitter today. John Leguizamo had a question about should we stay here on Twitter or go elsewhere? And I said, other sites that you post things off of, they should have more than just Facebook and Twitter. They should have other sites. And I called it Shitter. I mean Twitter. I mean X. Should have tagged Elon Musk on it too, but whatever. But anyways, check my Twitter at Joe Quills. Check. I mean, I'm gonna have you updated throughout the week as well. But it is my biggest week of the year. It's Breeders' Cup week, and hopefully I'll get you guys a few winners again this weekend. So, so that'll be this weekend, and be a long day, long weekend, but it's so much fun. Even if your horses don't win, it's 14 giant puzzles that you got to figure out, in my opinion. So, anyways, back to the NFL here, and Diontae Johnon is on the move again. The Ravens have agreed in principle to trade for him. Trade a trade with the Carolina Panthers. They get Diontae Johnon pending a physical. The Ravens will send a 5th-round pick to the Panthers for Johnson, and Carolina's 6th-round selection. They will get Johnson a 6th-round pick, according to Adam Schefter. And this is the second time he's been traded this year. Back in March, he was traded to Carolina from Pittsburgh. So he's going to the Pittsburgh's main rival. He will become just the 3rd wide receiver since 2000, which is, I believe, the first year of the Ravens. Be the 3rd wide receiver to catch a pass as a Raven and as a Steeler, according to ESPN research, joining Mike Wallace and Miles Boykin. So if you want to win money or a beer from somebody, that's a hell of a trivia question. Johnson indicated to ESPN last month he intended to resign with the Panthers, but as the losses mounted, as they're now 1-7, he was more open to moving on. He didn't play in Carolina's loss to Denver with a rib injury. He played with the previous week. Dave Canales, the coach, said that he referred questions to Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis, the executive vice president of football operation. Dan Morgan is the general manager. Baltimore can now pair Johnson with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. And where Johnson will help the Ravens the most is the throws near the sidelines. The Ravens have only combined for 29 catches on passes thrown outside the numbers this season, which is the third fewest in the league. Now, I know with, for example, Jalen Hurts, we were saying how he doesn't go to the middle of the field, but he was going toward the middle of the field last week. He was, but with the Ravens, it's those sideline plays that they haven't been doing. Since entering the league in 2019, Johnson has totaled 242 catches on passes outside the number, sixth most in the league over that time frame. So he's going to help a specific need that the Ravens need. If not like they need any more help, but you get the idea. But in March, the Panthers gave the Steelers Diontae Jackson, a 6th-round pick for Johnson, and a 7th-round pick in this year's in the 2024 draft. So that's the second time he's been in a trade. They thought Johnson would improve quarterback Bryce Young, but that hasn't been the case. So you do see there that he's going to take on he's going to take a role that is apparently desperately needed for the Baltimore Ravens. Like they need any more help right now. And looks like right now it's going to be a 2-team fight in the AFC, the Ravens and the Chiefs right now. But things can change between now and then. And by the way, the Flyers won 2-0 in Boston tonight. Who would have thought that? But anyways, one last story here, and we can do some filler in here as well. I did see here that Aaron Rodgers believed that he discovered a little fountain of youth, and it may be something not to sneeze at, or maybe it is. Rodgers has not been partaking in ayahuasca, but he has been partaking in cayenne pepper and water, suggested to him by teammate Thomas Morstead. Rodgers, he's been dealing with hamstring, knee, and ankle injuries throughout the season, and coming back off of the Achilles injury. So obviously, the leg bone's connected to the hip bone, all that bullshit. You compensate one injury and then you have another injury on top of that. So he's dealing with all those injuries. He started drinking before the Jets' Week 8 game and has continued this week in preparation for Thursday night's game against the Houston Texans at MetLife Stadium. Rodgers said he feels great. He said it's a short week, but it means most players are battling aching bodies, which is true. And they're doing the Stand Up to Cancer portion here that they do during the World Series here. Rodgers says he's not sure if it's all due to his new elixir, but he has made it part of his rehab regimen. Cayenne pepper and water can have health benefits, including pain relief, according to various medical journals. Who knew? Uh, Rodgers said, I'm taking care of myself nonstop. His age and diminished mobility were called into question by Patriots defensive tackle Devon Godchaux. Hope I pronounced that right. Um, he told reporters after the game on Sunday, Hall of Fame quarterback, hate to see him go out that way. He definitely doesn't look the same. Shit, I could run him down and catch him. He don't look mobile at all. So when you got a slow defensive lineman telling you that you're slow, then you're slow. Now, could we blame it on the Achilles? Could we blame it on all the injuries post Achilles? Could we blame it on age? But the one thing I'll say is, Aaron Rodgers may have occasionally ran in his younger years, but he was not a Randall Cunningham type or Michael Vick type or Jalen Hurts type that would call plays all the time for themselves. He may do it once in a while, but you do lose a step, and you could say it's father time, you could say it was the injury, you could say it's a combination of both, but it's just in some regards you just don't. You could blame a million things, and some quarterbacks, they get out at the right time. Some athletes get out at the right time, and some just stay a little too long. And he's still going to be a Hall of Famer. He's still going to be a Hall of Fame douchebag as well. But and Rodgers wasn't aware of the comments initially, but he said he's probably right. I've been hurting, but I feel better today. Um, um, Rodgers said, Timo gave me a little fountain of youth. He said he's been taking it for a while. All legal, of course. Maybe that's why I've been feeling a little bit better. But the Jets have lost 5 straight. And interim coach Jeff Ulbrich acknowledged that Rodgers hasn't been 100% this year. No shit. He added that the post-game checkup Monday was one of the better evaluations. From that standpoint, they're very fortunate. Rodgers said, it's not as good as I've hoped. I've got to play better. Rodgers says the repaired Achilles is not a factor at all, but he has missed some practice time due to his other leg injury. So blame it on whatever you want to blame it on, but it's just so many different factors here that are going on with age and the injuries and everything. And also, he's also playing on artificial turf and one of the worst turfs in the NFL. So you can say it's that as well, but it's so many different things right now. But I'm pulling up something else here just so that I can go here. So we covered Jameson Williams. And I'm just looking for something here. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me see here. And okay, so let me get this set up here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here so you can actually hear what this says. I might have to play it a second time here so you can get it from the beginning. But Carolina accused Denver and Sean Payton of trying to run up the score. Now, the game wasn't in doubt, but when you do a 60-yard field goal and it ends up being a fake kick when it's 28-7 in the fourth quarter, and then you end up, I think it was a halfback option pass. Um, so they did have. Let me run this through here. Actually, let's do it like this. Okay, so I'm going to play the video here. I'm going to share my screen here. Tell me what you think about this, and we'll go from there. So let me go here and here. I don't think you really need to see this because it's just pretty much stagnant photos, but um, the audio is what you want to hear here. So I'll even do that. So here you go.
After the game, a number of Panthers players that were frustrated felt like you were running the score up on them. How do you respond to that?
Listen, I said it last night. We're trying to finish the game the right way. We're not trying to run up the score on anyone. It's the National Football League. I've been in games with a 28-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost. So we're trying to finish. The Burton throw from Sutton is trying to continue a drive. Play better.
Hey, Coach, after the game, a
I'll play it again.
number of Panthers players that were frustrated felt like you were running the score up on them. How do you respond to that?
Listen, I said it last night. We're trying to finish the game the right way. We're not trying to run up the score on anyone. It's the National Football League. I've been in games with a 28-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost. So we're trying to finish. The Burton throw from Sutton is trying to continue a drive. Play better.
Okay, I get the play better part, but truthfully, I don't think that you. I don't think you well, mind you, you're in Denver where you do have less resistance on the ball because the air is thinner. Okay, so you are in a conducive environment for kicking 60, 65, 70-yard field goals if you really needed to. But if you think about it, how many teams up 28-7 against the worst team in the league is calling for a fake field goal, throwing the pass that he described as well? Does Carolina need to play better? Yeah, I get that, but I think it's a weak excuse here and a weak statement there because, I understand, you've blown 28-7 leads, but there's no way you can say that you're not running up the score. I mean, even if you don't score, you're still making the attempt to run up the score in some way. And, but I will argue against this, what I'm saying here, with how I feel about running up the score against teams in the National Football League. Now, even though now with the new schedule format with the 17th game, you do have the opportunity of playing a team in the AFC every 2 years, depending on the rotation of that fifth AFC game or interconference game. Because, if you're in the AFC, you're playing an NFC team. So you are going to have the occasional time where you're going to play a team every 2 years as opposed to every 4. Now, I feel like if you're going to blow out a team and you're really going to run up the score against a team in the other conference, because in most cases, You're not going to face that team for 4 years. And by the time 4 years comes around, they may have a new coach. You may be fired from your job eventually. 4 years from now, the faces even on the two teams have changed. So, it's not like it's not an Eagles Cowboys game where you're facing each other twice a year and maybe even a third time in the playoffs. You're only facing them one time every 4 years. I think he can get away. I think he can get away with doing that. But in terms of, it's just a matter of what are the chances of me having to play them later in the year, next year? Because if you're playing somebody and it's every 4 years, yeah, run up the score. I don't give a shit. But I think when the game is not in doubt, even with the rookie quarterback under center for Denver, I still think that, going for a fake field goal is excessive. Going for the option pass or whatever they played that they were talking about, yeah, that's a little excessive too. Playing better does not is an excuse it is a good excuse in some ways. But I just think if it was earlier in the game when he did the fake field goal in the third quarter, maybe, okay. But you're talking about 28-7. You got a quarterback that hasn't done dick. And, you got a quarterback who's probably the embarrassment of the draft, the embarrassment of the first round last year. And, I don't agree with what Sean Payton is saying, even though I can understand because he has been the victim of teams coming back on him in the fourth quarter. Okay. And believe it or not, Mike says that I am making sense. I think he's been hanging around me too long. I think I'm going to have to cut his time from 2.5 hours here to about 2.5 minutes. And and also, Payton wants us to believe what he's saying. Nope. Um, you know, and also, there's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, I ran up the score on those motherfuckers. I mean, that was. I don't know what. I don't know if it was a. I don't know if this is a. I think this is the equivalent of Philly Sports PHLY. So I think that they are. I think that they are a digital network, kind of like how Anthony Gargano's with PHLY or Philly Sports. Um, so if I'm Sean Payton, I want to say, or I want to drop an F bomb about the other team. Then yeah, I'm going to drop an F bomb on the team because even though PHLY or Denver DNVR Sports may have their rules, we don't want you to curse on air. Like, for example, the way that I feel when I do these shows, and sometimes it only lasts 5 minutes, I drop an F bomb, and, it's just, whatever. I'll just curse the rest of the night. But, um, but with the digital stations, you're not regulated by the FCC. So you don't have to worry about the 7 words that George Carlin talked about many years ago. If you want to drop an F bomb, go ahead. You want to say shit, go ahead. Piss, damn, all those words, and then even making stuff up as you go along, like motherfucker, or anything you can think of, you could do it, at least on digital, on online to a certain extent, as long as you don't make it into a threat to a person. You can do that. I just feel like, I'm trying to keep it professional. I'll try not to curse, but I don't have the FCC looking at me like I would on terrestrial radio, telling me that's a fine, motherfucker. You drop the motherfucker there, that's a fine, motherfucker. It ain't anything like that. But you know, I'd like to keep it as clean as possible, because what happens if I'm in an environment in talking sports, whatever, and I'm not allowed to curse at all, whether it's FCC or whatever organization says, hey, you're not supposed to curse on air. Okay. Because I don't need to curse. I can go a whole show without cursing. But curses, in some regards, if you use them the right way, they're sentence enhancers, for lack of a better term. So sometimes you do, uh, you know, you just got to know what your employer's uh, recommendations are. If you're terrestrial, you got to know what the FCC regulations are, all that stuff. But but for the most part, it's probably frowned upon that we curse. But we'll let them fly once in a while here at Bleacher Brothers. So it's not like we're not doing it. It's not like I don't curse at all. I do curse, and Mike knows I do curse a lot. It's just that try to use it as an enhancer, as opposed to just cursing for the sake of cursing. But you get the idea. So that is the case there. And also, I want to show you one thing here. And here's a question that I have here for those that have Instagram. When you share an Instagram post, um, and not everybody would be like this. I'm pulling up mine now. I ended up going on. I see one of my Drexel friends is at Yankee Stadium tonight. Okay. Matter of fact, we're going right to the thing here. And the one thing I have to question is, when you share a picture, a video, something that was shared on Instagram, do you get the view from the person or organization that you share it from? Well, we have 6 ABC Action News here in Philadelphia, which is the well-known local news station here in Philadelphia. And I shared two different things, but one of them I think timed out. But I still have one thing here that's still on there. So I look at who viewed my stuff, because sometimes it's like, sometimes I look, it's like, wish they didn't see that. Like, I'm trying to keep it as, I try to keep things PG, but some things are so fucking funny, and I come up with so many different things that you have to. Hold on a second. If SJ's watching, pineapple. But let me pull this up here. Um, All right, there we go. So we do have that person disappear because they decided to spam. I said, bye-bye. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, 6ABC. So, and I have to pull it back up here. Hold on a second. I was just about to share it, and then that guy ruined all the fun. That bot. And of course, it has to be the least PC post I have because I posted about matter of fact, let me see something here. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Activity, profile, archive. There it is. I am looking to see if I can find this here. See, report a problem, comments. Okay, so I can't find it here. So the one I had from the one I had that timed out was about daylight savings time and how I was saying how we don't lose an extra, how we don't gain an extra hour's sleep and all that stuff. Just the way that the body works and all that. But then I had this one, which I have here twice here. So let me get rid of that. So, of course, 6ABC sees the comment that I made about it being 1 week to the election. And I'm sure Mike saw it, but we'll find out in a second. And if your name pops up on here, I'm not trying to out you for watching my posts, my Insta stories, but here's the post, and they said it's 1 week until election day, and of course, because I'm a pig, I said, but every day is erection day at I Love Massage in Chinatown, Philly. So yeah, a little distasteful, a little bit of everything there that, nobody will like, but but when I look here earlier today, uh there you go. 6 ABC Action News. Yeah. So much about that. So they didn't see my other post, but when I decide to go in the gutter and Mike saw it, of course, 6 ABC will see that I make a joke about erections and the massage parlor that I joke about. I think it's still there. I haven't been downtown in a long time, especially that section of downtown where my office is, since I work from home. But I think it's still there. But just weird things. And it's like you see some of the people that have seen that stuff. It's like, oh, wish they didn't see that, because I do have a wicked sense of humor. Sometimes it's not PC, but I don't think it's cancel worthy. But I think in some regards you do have to realize that maybe you have to laugh at it, even though it may not be the best thing to say. I think it's okay to laugh and also say, "Dude, that ain't right." But that's just me. So that was something I saw today. Yeah, I'm just looking here. Anything else I need to touch base on here? Um, so, um, yeah, so I'm just looking at anything else here before we call it a night here. Just a reminder as well, check out Rebet, and I will put the link in the chat here in a second here. Rebet is a social sportsbook app that we have been promoting here on Bleacher Brothers. Um, and with the $100 promotion, with your initial deposit, you get 100% match up to $100. So you put in 25, they're going to give you 25. If it's 50, they'll give you 50. If it's 100, you'll get 100. And I've shared the link in chat. And anytime you want to, if you want to join, there's the link. It's available in most states. If you're using an Android phone, use the word Bleacher, not Bleacher Brothers. Use Bleacher. Uh, that'll help you with the whole process of getting your account set up. Use that code. You'll get that extra 25, 50, 7,500, whatever you want to put in there. And also, the money's going to go towards kids in Ocean County, New Jersey. They will, the money that we get, where it's going to go towards the kids in Ocean County, New Jersey, foster kids who they help uh, give kids the Christmas gifts that they want, the Christmas presents that they want every year. So check that. That's it's a fun app here. Penguin AZ followed me yesterday. I followed him back last night. I've been quiet the last couple of days only because I really haven't had a chance to look at anything. But if you check out check Rebet app through that link there. You too can join us, and you follow me, follow AJ, follow Toby, Schulman, and a bunch of others, along with Bleacher Brothers, and and you can also do head-to-head wagering. Let's say Mike's on there, and he said, you know what, Dodgers are sweeping tonight, and I said, bullshit, the Yankees are going to win. We could have a head-to-head wager, and we could have it could be a gentleman's wager, like in Trading Places, $1. I don't know what the minimum is, but let's say it is. Each guy puts up $1 from your account, and whoever wins gets that money. Boom. So, um, but it is a fun little sports app, a sports book app, 18 and over. If you got a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER, and it's a fun way to um, talk amongst friends and pick games against amongst friends as well. So Rebet is another um, another partner with Bleacher Brothers. So um, so we got a busy week coming up here with the the Bleacher Cup. Yeah. Well, we might have to create the Bleacher Cup, but anyway, as I was saying, the Breeders' Cup this weekend, and keep an eye out on that. I'll be working on that starting tonight. So, um, and everything will be on bleacherbrothers.com for all your sports needs. So check there as well. So I do want to thank Mike, Penguin AZ, anybody else who's been lurking throughout the night, because some people, you don't always have to participate in chat. We prefer it, but like I told you, when I was in grade school, the teacher said, "Oh, he wasn't participating in class." No, I was participating. It's just that my version of participating, which was taking what you're saying and consuming it, is different from having to raise my hand because you want me to talk on the show. Because sometimes you have to learn in different ways. Some people learn in different ways, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I understood what she was saying. But whatever. So, um, but tomorrow night we will be at 9 o'clock. We're back to that 9 p.m. spot starting tomorrow night. We will be Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Friday is a planned 5 p.m. post time. Saturday looks like a 2:30 post. We may have a Saturday morning show. I don't know. We'll figure all that out and we'll go from there. So, Penguin AZ, Mike, anybody who's lurking, everybody on YouTube and Twitch, and also on X. I do appreciate everybody who took the time to watch the show, and I appreciate everybody who watches and listens after the fact because, not gonna lie, I know that people do watch occasionally when when I'm not live. So, sometimes I do have important things to say, and sometimes it's like, Jesus Christ, Joe, did you really come up with that? But that's the fun of this. Just having fun with this, and that's what it's all about, just having fun. And but I do appreciate everybody, and we will do it live again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. And I still don't have a snappy close here, so we'll call the night here at 10:30, and let's do it tomorrow. So have a great night, everybody. Catch you tomorrow at 9 p.m. here for another edition of the Joe Quill Show. Good night, everybody.